Love it.
All right, guys. Shoot. Everybody knows you're on here now. We fudged up right from the beginning. So, guys, Jules is apparently not wanting to leave. What do you think is the best option for him going forward, being that he wants more playing time? Do you think he should be making demands quite yet? Steve?
Guess I always go first.
I mean, and I think anywhere else he's a number one striker. I think it's
Sure.
Haaland he's obviously a machine. He's in front of him. It depends what he wants. I mean, I've heard a couple of rumours over the season that his family were sort of pushing him towards an exit, maybe getting in his ear a little bit. But he always seems to be professional. He always seems to keep his head down. He doesn't really cause any mither, you know what I mean? Every time he's required, he comes on, he does a good job. I feel a bit sorry for him. I mean, the season he had, the season before, he's won the treble, he's won the World Cup, etc. Right. Alvarez, he's only young though, so it depends what he wants. And like you say, Pep sometimes has an habit of changing things a couple of seasons in and throwing a curveball. So maybe he finds somewhere for him to play. I definitely don't think he works behind Haaland like we've seen sometimes. I just don't think that works. I think we're a midfielder short if we play him. But if I'm in Alvarez's shoes, I'd be a little bit frustrated. I'd probably want a few more minutes. But it depends what you wish for. You know what I mean? The grass isn't always greener on the other side, and he's at a fantastic football club with a fantastic manager. He gets no pressure off the fans, and he's only young. So I know everything's sort of happened fast in his life, but I reckon he can wait it out another couple of seasons and see how he goes. And why not try and force himself in that side? You know what I mean?
Sure. I think with that really awesome hot take by Big Steve, welcome to the Snobby Boys! All right, everybody. Welcome to the Snobby Boy Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Colby. That's my homeboy down there, Joe. And obviously, we got a guest this week. We got Big Steve. Big Steve. Wild. This is so wild. Big Steve, welcome to the show. We're absolutely elated to have you on. Real quick, before we do anything, though, make sure you hit the like, make sure you hit the subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bells for all updates at any time that we're getting ready to go live. And also make sure that you go and follow our boy Big Steve if you haven't already. Big Steve MCFC. Go follow him now. A few of the things we're going to be talking about with Steve this week. First, we're going to be doing a kind of a back and forth Q&A, getting a little bit of perspective from the UK side to the US fan side. Things we share, things we may differ on, but I don't think there's going to be a lot because a lot of the things that Big Steve says, we kind of say it too, without, taking it or anything, but whatever. We'll also be talking about what Khaldoon has said in his last presser, the Ortega extending his contract through 2026, and the lawsuit that City's put out against the Premier League. So, first things first. Khaldoon's second presser. He did not exactly give us anything to be scared about, did he, guys?
No. I feel like every time Khaldoon speaks, I think he reassures everybody, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And this is what a lot of people especially in England, can't get their head round. I get people every day, 115, why your team's cheated, you're guilty, why don't you say how it is, why don't you do this, why don't you do this? I'm like, hold on a minute. What if we were owned by Thaksin Shinawatra, whose record in politics and ownership of businesses was a little bit sketchy, then yeah, maybe I wouldn't be as confident. But you're talking to Khaldoon about Khaldoon Al Mubarak and Sheikh Mansour, elite businessmen and people of high ranking around the world. And Manchester City supporters have got no reason to not take what Khaldoon says on face value. So if our chairman says to the fans, we look forward to giving our irrefutable evidence to the panel, then why the hell would any Manchester City supporter not back their team and back Mubarak? This is what rival fans can't get in their head. They want us all to say, yeah, we must be guilty. I'm sorry, nobody's saying it. If the charges are found out and Manchester City have got something to answer for, then us as Manchester City fans, we've got a bit of a problem because our chairman said we've got irrefutable evidence and obviously something's gone wrong. So then you might see a ripple through the fan base where certain people are going to call it out, rightly so. But at the minute, this is all speculation by rival fans, the Red Cartel, Arsenal, Man United, Liverpool fans, the only ones that are on anyone's case. But I'll tell you something, this case could be blown open and this could end up being a victory for football. Because if Manchester City are successful and these rules are put to bed and FFP is banished and all that, then I'm sure Newcastle fans, Aston Villa fans, Chelsea fans who are struggling at the minute, having great seasons but can't spend any money, I'm sure they'll be thankful. And at the end of the day, Manchester City as a club will not be bullied and pushed around if they think something is wrong. And why American-owned teams, you guys are American-owned teams getting American sponsors, nobody blinks an eyelid. Nothing about value, nothing, it's fine. But a Middle Eastern-owned team getting a Middle Eastern sponsorship, all of a sudden, it's panic stations. So Manchester City are taking it where they need to take it. And we just got to back our guys, man. We just got to back our guys.
Yep, absolutely.
That's been our message, too, is just the ownership, the leadership, the manager have all been echoing the exact same message. And they've given us no reason then throughout their entire ownership period to have us doubt them at this point. And like you said, it's the rival fans that are keep pushing that same narrative. But for me and for Colby, I know the same way. Trust the club. That's the message. They haven't steered us wrong yet. And until we see firm evidence to the contrary, it's 100% trust Khaldoon, trust Sheikh Mansour, trust Pep, and all the other wonderful guys that we have running our club at this point. So 100% agree.
And the one word I want everybody to focus on in all of this is the word integrity. There are not a lot of businessmen anywhere in the world that have the level of integrity these men have. They make a promise, they keep it. They don't leave you stringing along. They don't make you feel like you're getting wound up for nothing. And that's something that I absolutely respect about this club. Being American, Steve, we try to find a lot of the parallels in what we grew up watching in our sports over here to football, and even just the English way. Too often we hear storylines, especially growing up, of a star is going to go here, going to go there, and we know that it's going to happen. Kind of the same thing here, but there's a lot of times where those get volleyed up in some stupid, litigations or whatever it may be. City has been very concise and very direct and has made things happen the way they say it's going to. And that's, to me, again, we're going back to the word integrity. There's just not a lot of teams that have that. There's not a lot of businesses out there that have that. And I think that's something that we should take pride in. And I think that going back to what you said, Steve, about all the rival teams against us that are going to say differently. Well, at the end of the day, it comes down to the fact that they're just mad it's not them. Plain and simple.
100%. 11 players be 11 players on the pitch. We wipe the floor with them, all of them.
Every time.
We've seen things they only can dream of seeing. We've been to Istanbul. We've seen the treble. We've seen the 4 in a row. We've seen the Super Cup in Saudi Arabia. We've seen it all. And at the end of the day, they can't take their memories away from us. So the only thing they've got left to fight now is this. And as a Manchester City fan growing up of a certain age, if somebody had told me that the only thing anyone's got left is to throw some mad charges at you, I'd be happy because back in the day, we were terrible. We were shit. And everyone had everything to fire at us. But you've just got to realise that I sort of smiled inside when I heard it, when someone says 115 to me. Because I think you woke up this morning, angry at the world because your life is shit. And Man City are ruining your football team, and you think I'm going to log on Big Steve's account and just say 115 to him, like you're going to ruin my day, like you're ruining my day. Let's go in a row. You ain't ruining my day. You're making my day. You're making my day. So I encourage it. I like it. I like it. The 1-1-5. It's character building for him because if it goes the other way and Manchester City are cleared, I think we're going to have to open up a Manchester City helpline for these people.
Oh, yeah, you're 100%. 100%. Oh, my God.
And you know what, though? The worst thing is, just let's look at it from another point of view. If the worst thing in the world happens, it won't, by the way, that something's gone wrong and we have done something and they relegate us, you know, like Manchester City fan are warped, right? They're kind of excited about that relegation and starting again. It's like Championship Manager when you play it and you win the European Cup and you're bored and you switch it off and you start again with Forest Green Rovers and try and win we're ready for it. I've got my banana in the cupboard, my Kappa tracksuit. We're ready to go.
Let's go. Yes. That's great. I love that you made the championship analogy because it's exactly the way it feels to me. It's to go back down, even like this is something too that I feel like we do so much better at than any other fan base is that we take everything on the chin. Everything. I mean, exactly. We know what it's like to be in the lowest of the low, the shittest of shit, and rise back to the cream of the crop and making statements along the way.
If you can get off a coach, right, after 4 hours, after just being beat 4-0 off Lincoln City, and get off that coach and say to your mate, I'll see you on Saturday, you're a special kind of guy. You're a special kind of fan. You're built different, These guys can't do that. They're having full-on meltdowns when the team's fourth in the Premier League or third or in the Europa League. They're having meltdowns. Can you imagine that coach journey when you've just been done off Lincoln? I'll never forget it. Gives you Bert Boz. The guy's probably a plumber now back in Holland. He scored that trick. And I'm like, I remember getting on the coach and saying to him, I'm not fucking coming next week. I'm not coming again. Watch this shit. But by the time I'd calmed down and I realised that how much I loved the club, by the time we'd had a bit of anatomy and my pal, I got off and I went, I'll see you on Saturday. And that was it, and that's just how it is. And when I did that Lad Bible, with the guy from Arsenal when we moved the glass.
Okay.
And I said, you just don't get it. You just don't get it. I've seen things with this club with these fans. And don't get me wrong, I've done Lad Bible, so people know my story. But there is thousands of fans the same as me. And we've got this weird sense of humour, City fans, that you just don't get it unless you know. You know what I mean? And like you say,
unless you've been there.
We've been there, we've seen it, we ain't having no meltdown. And I tell you this, I always say this, when this football club was on the bones of its arse and it needed the help of the supporters, that is when you see a true support of a football club. And that's not when you throw your toys out the pram and you don't go because it's crap. That's when you have to go because your football club's going to die. And we went in thousands and thousands and we picked it up. And we bought the shirts, we bought the pies, we bought into the bullshit and we got behind them. Every away ground was sold out. We went on a mission and we just went in the hope that one day we'd do it. And we did it. And we won the lottery in 2008 with Sheikh Mansour,
Yeah.
But us supporters, we bought the ticket for that lottery in the years before that. So that this club would be where it is now.
For years.
It would not be where it is now without these supporters of a certain generation that back this club, because Manchester City was an absolute fantastic opportunity for someone because of the support. Whether anyone likes it or not, they looked at that support and went, wow, if them fans can fill Main Road when they're playing that shit, what can we do when in this new stadium? And there you go.
Exactly. So let's get into a little bit of this Q&A with you, because you kind of talked on a couple of things that we want to hit. First thing, when me and you had this kind of off-camera discussion, one of the things that I wanted to ask is, what was it like growing up on the east side of Manchester in the late 80s and early 90s, considering at the time where City was?
It won't go. To be honest, it won't good. My first season was 89. We just got promoted. We got promoted that year, Bradford away, and then we come up that year. We played Man United at Main Road. We beat them 5-1, which was mad for me as a kid because never thought I'd see it. Yeah. After that, we didn't really do very well, but it was we knew our place in football at that time. Manchester City had a golden era in the late 60s, early 70s. Manchester United with the Premier League, etc., were just kicking off, and we were just that team in Manchester where we wasn't the most popular team, but I always classed us as the people's team. People used to say, if you're from Manchester, you support Manchester City, and it was tough growing up because a lot of my friends supported United. United was on TV, Cup Winners' Cup, Premier League, etc., etc. City were just bouncing around. Sure. And then the relegations, when you become a teenager and you're getting relegated, obviously, it's not easy to take. You know what I mean? Because you're a young adult. Your mates are ripping the piss out of you every week. They're all
the hormones are running crazy as it is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But you just, this is what I'm saying. We just thought, you know what? I felt part of something because I was a little bit lost as a teenager. Didn't really know what I wanted to do. But I love Manchester City, and I always felt part of it. And I always felt that we're going to the game at a weekend to Main Road was different. And then you get involved with the guys and you go in a big cruiers and all that. And then you end up in the second division and you're having the maddest times of your life, getting off trains in random towns. And it's like the Wild West. And it's like, it was just brilliant. You know what I mean? And then to go from that, I mean, listen, I'll tell you the truth. I was involved when I went to Main Road on the Stuart Pearce, the Etihad on the Stuart Pearce. I had a full head of hair. I had about 10, 15 grand of savings, and I was engaged. By the time Stuart Pearce left, I had no hair, no bird, and no dough. So Manchester City has got a lot to answer for. But that's just it. I was in for Man City. I love Man City more than anything. Couldn't see further than it. But then obviously things changed and that. But around Manchester in the early days at Main Road was a special place. Anyone that's been there will tell you. The Kippax before it was all seated was special. And it was just City, wasn't it? And it was City was ours. We were the fans. We loved it. Everyone's favourite second team, believe it or not, they used to say, we love Man City. The fans are loyal. Right. The supporters are this, the supporters are that. The second we get any money and we become a threat, everyone hates us. That just happens in football. But Main Road, mate, was special and it was tough growing up. But we used to have a small band of brothers in a school. I went to an all-boys school, 90% United. A lot of Klingons who were just like, yeah, whatever. But and I see them United fans now, by the way, and they don't like football anymore. And I don't like football anymore. But when we were kids, and we had a small band of City brothers, and I've seen them now still knocking about, and we're still the same. And we were just flying the flag. They had Eric Cantona, Brian Robson, Ryan Giggs. We had Georgie King-Clancy, a diamond in our crown. You know what I mean? But listen, we did ourselves proud, and we kept flying the flag.
Yeah, it's. You kept saying the word loyalty, and that's one thing that me coming into the sport, and for those of you that are in here and new to us, don't really know our story. I'm very new to football. Growing up in the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area, you were assimilated to one of three sports. You were American football, baseball, or hockey. Football was to the fringes, and I mean the very far fringes of culture where I grew up. Moving down to Virginia, it picked up a little bit because if you understand the United States, we work on a pay-to-play system. We don't have it like you guys over there where there's literally a pitch everywhere you turn. For us, that's a basketball court. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was very just whatever. And then finally, as the Premier League and other leagues started catching deals with NBC, ESPN, stuff like that, it started becoming more and more of a trend, and especially over these last 5 years, which is when I've gotten in. I see the sport here growing in such a tremendous rate, and I'm really excited about it. But all in the same, I feel kind of like now that I'm almost about 4.5 years into it now, I feel a little bit protective of it. I want to invite new people in, but all at the same time, I don't want them messing up the vibe and trying to convolute it and stuff like that. I digress. What I wanted to say in that is that I find a lot of similarities between where I grew up in Pittsburgh and the Manchester geography and just the way of being, the blue-collaredness of the town and the loyalty. Loyalty is what I'm going back to. Loyalty is something you just don't get. Even especially today's society, you don't get loyalty to a lot of things. And I think that's the one thing that makes me the most proud to have set my feet into this club is the loyalty that comes along with it, because it reminds me a lot of being a Pittsburgh Steeler. And that's all I wanted to say on that. Joe.
You talk a lot about Main Road just now. Do you have like a maybe a favorite memory or from your time going, and could you maybe elaborate a little bit more on what the atmosphere was like there for those who might not have been?
Yeah, see the memories. There's a few standout memories, standout matches there. Obviously, the derbies then were big because we was not expected to win. The last derby at Main Road, the 3-1, where Gary Neville gave the ball, Sean Goater, that was a special one. I remember the atmosphere before. There was a little bit of trouble outside. It was a bit tense, but we came in there and we done the business. So that was good to get that win. I remember a 3-3 draw with Newcastle. Kevin Keegan was the manager. He had everything. Faustino Espria, elbow Keith Curl in the face, headbutted Keith Curl. It was a bit of a ding-dong game. I remember Tottenham Hotspur coming there, Jurgen Klinsmann, Popescu, Dimitrescu had a great side from the World Cup. We flattened them. I think it was 5-2, 4-2, 5-2 there. So there's loads of different individual games and memories. King Clancy, just the goal against Southampton when he jinked his way through everybody and dinked it in. There was loads. We've had some mad little pitch invasions there when we got relegated, and pitch invasions when we got to the playoff final and stuff like that. But the atmosphere, it was just an old school rugged ground. The Kippax, when it was standing, was massive. It went the full length of the pitch. Massive, cram-packed in. You know, it was one of the best atmospheres you'd ever get at Main Road. When it was on it, it was on it. You know what I mean? It was intimidating. The area is intimidating. Moss Side, very, very depraved area in Manchester. Very, very scary place to be. You know, people coming to Main Road on a Wednesday night as an away fan to try and get yourself through them side streets and get to that stadium without any sort of altercation was tough. You'd likely 90% of the time you'd come out of the ground, your car wasn't there. That'd be gone. Someone would take it. So, the kids, the local
Joe, does that
kids,
sound like Baltimore?
Yeah, the local kids. Yeah, they used to come up to you when you got out of the car and say, "Can I mind your car, Mister?" So if you was clever, you'd say, "Yeah, mind my car. When I come back after the game, if you're still here, I'll give you £1." If you didn't give them anything, your tires were done, the windows were done. So it was one of them places. It had a lot of character in that. You know what I mean? But I feel sorry. I go to the game now, and there's a lot of the younger guys and that they're on a great journey with City, and they always say to me, "Steve, what was the Main Road like?" And I feel sorry for them that they never experienced it. Like, I just feel sorry for them.
So I'll always be upset that I'll never get to have those experiences. Just seeing old pictures and watching old videos of matches at Main Road, I'm truly jealous of that atmosphere that you got to witness that. But all the same, we get to hear from you directly of what it was like. So that's awesome.
No, it was good. And like you say, we had some sad times there, relegations and stuff. You know, but it was just when you go somewhere every week, at least once a week, for most of your life, you can't not connect to it. You know what I mean? There was people they used to have there was a woman called Helen that used to ring a bell. If you Google Helen, the bell from behind Main Road, and I remember going to as a kid and this woman ringing a bell, and my dad saying, "Oh, she's been here years," and you know, ex-players used to give her little rosettes and stuff, and she'd always ring the bell and get the crowd going, and that was crazy. But little things like that, and then it was just everything about the place, the experience when you're a kid. You know, when you can smell like the hot dogs, and it's weird. It's like a weird smell, and then coming out the game. If you come out the game at full time, they used to have a newspaper called the Pink Final, and they used to print the newspaper the second the game had finished. So you could literally come out of Main Road. There was a machine in a van spinning newspapers off, and you could get a full copy of the match report. 1 minute after the game had ended, there was a full match report with pictures. It's called the Pink Final. Google it. Right?
How wild is that?
So I could get that 1 minute after full time. I could get that, get back in the car, read the match report and read all the scores from around the grounds in the back of it. It was crazy, mate. And it's just little things like that not many people ever know about. But and the souvenir shop, mate, it was so small. They were so small. It was like a little tiny store. You only had to one way in, one way out. You literally got ushered along. You look in a glass case. You buy a badge, a scarf, a cap, and then you're out the other door and away. That's it. It was unreal. It was tiny. And we didn't own the badge at one point. I think because we had no money. I think we sold the badge to Umbro and we only got a percentage. The catering at the ground was licensed off. So there was people providing hot dogs and beers and stuff, but we were getting very little money for it. The club was just a mess, man. It was a mess, but we had to do things we had to do to survive.
Oh, and again, this is the beauty of this sport over there. The ability to have such an evolution of your team from decade to decade to decade. I mean, obviously you see some clubs, they revert a little bit. But you don't see that in American sports. We don't have the promotion relegation system. So it's really cool to see these teams like grow from nothing to something, ours being one of them. I mean, the history that we have, especially with, being St. Mark's prior to, or was it Gorgon? Saying that right?
Gorton St. Mark's, yeah.
Gorton, yeah. And then the evolution into Manchester City, the stories behind that. The one that I love throwing out at United fans is I love to say, well, if it wasn't for us, Old Trafford would be a crater. I'm like, well, why is that? We housed you during World War II, so we win. We do have a history.
There's loads of listen, the history of Manchester City is we won the FA Cup before all of them clubs. We won the FA Cup 65 years before Liverpool. We won the European trophies and stuff. So the team that's got no history, the recent history is better than half of their 100-year history. So the history created under Pep Guardiola is unique. So everything unique Man United did, trebles, doubles, we've done that and more. You know what I mean? Centurions. I did a TikTok saying, we've done your list, you do our list. Because when I was growing up, there was always this list, this imaginary list. So when City did something, United fans would always say, yeah, but you've not won the Prem. So then we win the Prem. You've not won the FA Cup, we win the FA Cup. Yeah, but you've never won a double, we win the double. You won't win the Champions League, we won the Champions League. You'll never win the treble, we've won the treble. Yeah, but you never win 3 in a row, we won 3 in a row. So everything they give us on this list, we've done. So now they've got to do our list now. We've just added 4 in a row. Let's see if they can do that. They don't like it because they never in a million years thought in their mind that Manchester City was going to be here where we are now. I never did. So God knows they never did. Do you know what I mean? I used to look at Man United and think, wow, some gaff that. Old Trafford, global reach, everything. No, we're never catching that. Ever catching that. And I look at it now and I think, wow, the roof's pissing in. There's piss running down the stairs at Old Trafford. The shithole. We go there every year, beat them. They beat us in the FA Cup the other week. You thought they'd won the Champions League the way they reacted around here. But at the end of the day, we had a prayer
about that for fucking 2 years.
I mean, 4 in a row. There's no parade for them. So listen, they're doing their thing. Will they be back? Probably be back one day. Know what I mean? But listen, we got to enjoy it, and we don't give them enough shit, by the way, because they were killing us. We were in the second division. They were still had their foot on our neck, killing us, and we need to kill them. That's why I don't care. They give me shit online, Big Steve this, Big Steve that. I'm not bothered because I'm on them all the time, and they don't like it. But at the end of the day, what Manchester City doing now is creating history, and it's hard for them to take.
Dude, I love watching you and Saeed go after each other. It's so much fun. It's so much fun.
He's a good guy. He's losing the faith now. He's even losing the faith. He never went to the FA Cup final because he thought they were going to get beat. What kind of fan's that? You know what I mean? You go there. You don't. I've been at Old Trafford, right, with Ben Jarney and Darius Vassell up front, and they had Tevez, Rooney, Ronaldo, and we beat them. Can you imagine if I said I wasn't going because we're going to get beat? I'd have missed one of the greatest days of my life. He missed his team, win the FA Cup, because he didn't think they were gonna do it. It's different.
Well,
you know what I mean?
It's kind of funny to me to see the parallels of United fans over there and then the ones that are over here, because obviously up until this past year, you know that we've been kind of in the shadows as far as our viewership in the United States. We're now the number one team in the United States viewed was, right? United, Liverpool, Barcelona, those are the big fan bases that you see most prevalent in the football world here in the States. United, obviously, for its reasons of, its history with winning in the 90s. Well, we have this rhetoric over here that's very similar to the way that it is there. They try to talk all this shit, and I'm just like, dude, you haven't done anything in like, I don't know, 15, 20 years.
Yeah, they haven't.
It's the last major trophy they won was 2008, 2009, I believe, and it's just like this honestly, because of them is a big reason why I stepped over to City. More of the humility of this club, the loyalty, even more. The shit that comes out of United fans' mouths is always laughable. And I can always turn it back on them in like within 5 seconds. And at first I used to get mad. I used to get so upset and get super triggered or whatever. And between that and there was something else that I made a mention to you when you were on Hollywood Kit Packs. You kind of gave me the strength in that episode to like block out the bullshit and just go along with the irony and like have fun with this, because at the end of the day, like we said earlier, they're just jealous of us. That's all it is.
And they're just gonna listen. They're just gonna try and put you guys down as all you plastic fans. You've only just joined the club. Doesn't matter. I say this all the time. If you're a Manchester City supporter and you love the club and you're active, involved in the club, and you're positive and you're trying to spread a good word and a good thing about the club, Manchester City fans love that. We love that because that's what we want. It's these negative ones, these entitled ones that come on and go, Kevin De Bruyne shit, he needs to be sold. That's when you're going to get the City fans back up. That's when you're going to get a lot of guys turning on people, because it's like, hold on a minute. That's when people will say, you've only been a fan for 4 years. That's because they're going to shoot you down because you bring in negative shit to the club. We don't need that. Don't get me wrong. You can have an opinion and you're entitled to it. If you're a fan, not everyone's opinion is the same. But you're not doing the club or the supporters any good if we're winning trebles and you're coming on and saying, we need to get rid of Haaland now, he's not doing this, or we need to get rid of De Bruyne. It's just nonsense. From where we've been, it's hard for supporters like myself and the guys at Main Road to take that kind of shit. But if you're positive and you're flying the flag, your job as American Manchester City supporters is to fucking get as many Man City supporters as you can out there in the States. You're flying the flag for us out there. You're the ambassador for us to go out there in the States. So you're representing the club in the States. We want more people there. We want to take over. That's what we're doing. We all want to be together, but we all got to be on the same page. We've all got to be on the same page. You look at some fan bases and the fans are so toxic online. They're arguing with each other. It's cracked down the middle, and it's just not what we're about. You know what I mean? And we've been so lucky that we've never got to that point online yet. You know, the City community online is good. Everybody knows each other. We help each other. There's not one City online content creator where you'd say he's very negative or we don't like him or he's profiting off the club. Right. It's just not like that. You know what I mean? We're all in for the club. We love the club and we want to open it all up to everybody and we want everybody included. You know what I mean?
Exactly that. That was the biggest reason why we even got into podcasting and doing this, is because, like, for me, myself, being a more newcomer, Joe's been with the club since 2012. You know, it's there are so many different perspectives of the game that you can have. A lot of them, once you understand the game a lot better, they seem to be more congealed and fluid amongst everybody. But one of the reasons why I got on the mic was because I was the guy who literally sat outside of the game, didn't really pay it that much attention, understood it to the extent of how to play, but not to the extent of what I do now. I think that between you, a few of the various other different UK-based, Manchester-based city podcasts, as well as the US. If you form all of our opinions all together, I feel it's the right opinion. I feel it's the right state of mind, and I love the fact that we are the ambassadors of this club, whether it be directly to them or not, unbeknownst to them or whatever. It's the fact that we want to share the love for this club. We want to show people that there is a place that you can call home. I honestly, somebody who is not.
I went to Saudi Arabia, right, for the World
Mhm.
Club Cup, not knowing what to expect. Saudi Arabia, this, you can't do this, you can't do that. We got there. Unbelievable welcome. People coming up to me in the airport with flowers and taking me to the hotel, all this stuff, right? And I seen people in Saudi Arabia whose dream it was to watch Manchester City. I seen them next to me in the stand. They knew every single chant, every single word. We were singing about Main Road. They were singing that. They were jumping around like you've never seen. They had some unbelievable energy out in Saudi Arabia, right?
That's awesome.
And that is what I say to people, yeah? Do not call these people plastic fans, because I would rather, sit in a stand full of them with that energy than a stand sometimes what we get at the Etihad, where they stood there with an iPad or a fucking on the phone to the mate or filming the game. That ain't what we're a football club. We're here to support. So these people that people like to talk about and ridicule and laugh at, I'd have them stood next to me anytime. And that's what I say. You know, don't get me wrong, I see it at the Etihad now, there's a lot of tourists there, and it is a day out to them, and they want to see Haaland, and they focus on players. And Man City fans are probably not used to that, because over the years, we never really had the major superstars that people wanted to come and see.
Exactly.
But now, so City's got to find a balance. We've got to find a balance. And I say sometimes on my podcast, if you've got an iPad and you fucking want to film the game, don't come in the South Stand with us, because you're just rubbing people up the wrong way, right?
Yeah.
But I also feel like there's certain foreign supporters that they look down on us local ones, like we're well, we don't live there, so we're not the same as you. We have to get up at 4 a.m. in the morning. Okay, but that's fine. I get that. But you've got to have there's a difference between a local fan and a foreign fan, whether they like it or not. There is. So the foreign fan, if he's getting up at 4 a.m. and listen, it's full credit to you, because you've got to do a day's work, you're watching games and all that, fine. But to the guy who's invested at home, he's sacrificing time with his kids, time with his family. He's 25. Last season, £30,000 I spent on City home and away, 61 games. I'm in airports, I'm in taxis, I'm losing passports, I'm getting missing flights, we're doing trains, we're getting, you're getting attacked at away game. So all what I'm doing, is different than the guy that's getting up at 4 a.m. with his dressing gown, getting a cup of coffee, watching the game, going to work. I respect it, but I feel like sometimes they don't respect us. They think that we're having a go at them. We're not. All I'm saying is that we're on the ground week in, week out. You'd like to be on the ground, but because you live 20,000 miles away, you can't be. So instead of trying to make a big deal out of it, you do what you do, we do what we do, and we're all together. That's all I say to people. You know what I mean? Yeah. And we always make people welcome. If you message me and said, Steve, I'm coming to this game, the amount of tickets, the amount of people I've met and gave tickets to and done everything to everybody and helped so many people. This week I sent shirts to Ghana. Yeah, I paid for them myself. I sent them to Ghana.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. That was really awesome of you, by the way. Really awesome. That kid has messaged me
every single day, and he's polite. He's always like, please, Steve, thank you, God bless you. One day I'd like to go to the Etihad, and I sent him a shirt. But it was people like, you sent him a shirt? It was last season's shirt. And I'm like, are you mad? It cost me 60 quid, then it cost me 30 quid in delivery. Got lost twice.
Exactly.
People are just crazy, man. But I just feel like, we're all together in this, and we've just got to, you're going to get hate in everything you do. But,
sure,
Man City is a club. We're trying to welcome everyone with open arms, ignore all the hate online. And if you're a supporter of Man City and you come into that ground to get behind them boys, I guarantee you not one person will say a word. If you come to that stadium and you stand there with 20 Megastore bags and an iPad, it's not going to rub people up that way. You know what I mean?
Right. And there's what's crazy about that is that especially us here as U.S. citizens that have been to American football, baseball, basketball, hockey, whatever. It's more prevalent in American football, specifically, even more so in college football, where you have sections of people, whether it's like if you're in college football, it could be the group for a fraternity. They sit in this one specific spot. It's in a specific stand. Um, Otherwise, you don't get that in a lot of other sports. I love and respect that, especially about the South Stand. If I'm coming for my first time, I'm not coming there with my iPhone in my hand and sitting there and taking every bit of or trying to pick up every bit of content that I can. Because at the end of the day, what have I really done? Same thing that 150 other people fucking done too. I'm coming there to get the experience. I want to be there with you, with my buddy John, several of the other people that we've made friends with in this community. I want to be there in it with you guys. Coming there and putting your phone up, you look stupid. And you would look stupid here in America too, doing that type of shit. It's just, I totally see where you guys are coming from. When I first heard the tourist thing and all that stuff, like at first it kind of seemed like there wasn't room for new people, and that kind of like hurt my feelings. It's like, damn, like we're Americans trying to put this thing up on a pedestal and make it as big as we possibly can over here, and then we catch that type of flack, and it's just like, is it worth it? But at the end of the day, it is. It is, because I get to have these moments with you, with Hollywood Kipax, with all the other different podcasts that we've gotten to work with. I wouldn't take it back to the world. But anyways, one of the questions I wanted to ask you specifically, and this has something to do with the fact that our away shirt will be a redo of sorts of the 99 shirt that won us or sent us up. Aside from the club, okay, what's something you miss from 1999 that you would bring back today?
Sean Goater.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Sean Goater and Haaland. Sean Goater and Haaland up front. What a devastating pairing that would be.
I don't want to.
99
the only thing. Go ahead.
99 was mad because we were big Man City in the second division, and we really wasn't prepared for it. And I remember going to the first few games. Teams were treating every game against City like a cup final. Our players didn't really fancy it, and we were struggling until we signed Andy Morrison. You know what I mean? He was having mental health problems. He had attacked his manager at Huddersfield with a table. Somebody had rang someone at City and said, "Have you heard about Morrison?" City seen an angle, got him in. He sort of brought this like fighting bulldog spirit to Man City. Like, come on, we're not messing about here. And we sort of just that season. I think the fans realised that we were shit, and we've just got to get behind them. We can't get any lower than this. Yeah. Let's just get behind them, and we did. And if you look at it and dig it, that is the worst football team in Manchester City's history, but it's also the most loved. Do you know what I mean? It's the most loved. And that tells you how warped Manchester City fans are, yeah? Because Sean Goater could walk in a Mary D's, and Erling Haaland could walk in Mary D's, and they're getting the same reception. And it's crazy to think that. You know what I mean? It's crazy to think that. But you know, we just had a spirit and a Manchester City spirit and get behind the team and all that. And like you say, we went on a journey. We're on a journey now with Pep, and we're winning trebles, and with Saudi Arabia, and we're doing all this. And this is the Pep journey, yeah? But we also went on a journey with Joe Royal and the 99 boys. Yeah. And we dropped and we came. And some people will say to you now, the journey with the 99 mob, it was more satisfying than what we're winning now. I know we're winning trophies, but it was just a part of our history that we'll never forget, and we're always thankful for them boys. And like you say, I feel like they gave us something. I feel like the football club was massive, but it lost its soul. And I feel like them boys in '99 gave us the soul back. And I think the fans started to believe a little bit more. And then we just brought a bit of life back into the club. David Bernstein, the chairman at the time, who really sorted the off-field problems about and made it run like a football club. You had Joe Royal, who'd ex-Man City, who was a manager, he cared. And then you had that bunch of players that they could have jumped ship the year they went down. They could have jumped ship, but a lot of them stayed and said, "No, we're gonna fight it and we're gonna do it." And and we did it. So '99 to me was special, and it was just the spirit of '99. I think it was so good around that time.
Yeah, definitely a launching point for where we are now, for sure. Dude, I love those shirts. I cannot wait until they are released. I've been waiting to get an original, but now that this new one's coming out, it's hot. I love it.
Yeah,
no, it's a great shirt.
Puma did a great job of this one for sure. So Steve, I was looking through some of your content, and you had mentioned your son has been going to Wembley 13, 14, 15 times, something like that, and it's starting to get boring for him. What's it like raising a young guy like that in this era of success, knowing where you've come from? You gave everybody kind of your experience growing up.
Mm-hmm.
What's the dynamic like, knowing that he's accustomed to Wembley trips and trophies almost every year, but you growing up had a very different experience?
Yeah, it's hard for me to take sometimes with him, and you know, sometimes I've had a bit of, you know, we get a little bit heated with him, but you got to understand that, like, I think they get a little bit of entitlement because they've never seen anything else, so they go, I don't want to go to the semi-final, Dad, but I'll go to the final. And it's like, they've automatically in the head, we've won the semi and we're playing in the final. Now, that's an elite mentality to think like that, so I respect it, but you shouldn't take things like that for granted. And like you say, for us growing up, Wembley was the holy grail to get there. And to get there in '99 meant so much. And to go there and to win that was great. And you know, it was fantastic. And I mean, I've been to Wembley now every time. So 20 odd, 30 odd times, yeah. And I still love it. I've still got that because I've experienced the other side of the coin, so I appreciate it. Whereas he's like, Man City are always good, Dad. You know what I mean? We're going to get here, we do this. He likes a lot of music, my lad, so he's into Liam Gallagher and all that. So, you know, he sort of just goes with the flow. But when I said that on that Lad Bible, I was trying to be open and honest and say, look, you know, Mansour's give us that many great times. My lad now, he's picking and choosing. You know, Liverpool fans in the 80s, there was probably people that thought when they lost the league to Arsenal in 91 or 90, that, yeah, don't worry about that. We'll be back next year. And he didn't win it for 30 odd years after that. So I always say you can't take it for granted. I always say, you know, if you can afford it and go, but, you know, it is hard with him. You know, he went to more parades when he was a kid. Like, I think it took me 30 years to go to a parade. I think he's been to like 6 or 7. It's just crazy, man. It's crazy.
Lucky SOV.
Yeah. Exactly.
You have to tell him. You got to tell him how lucky he is compared to some of these other fans that just won't get that opportunity right away.
Listen, that's just modern day now, and like you say, there's so many distractions for him and that. But I'm sure there's going to be a time when the loyalty's got to come back round again, and I feel like that's when you're going to weed out a lot of these supporters that are jumping on it. I feel like if City hit a bad patch and had a couple of seasons where they were out of Europe or floating around mid-table, I feel like you would definitely you'd lose a lot of people that have jumped on it, 100%.
Yeah. So real quick, you said your lad's into music a lot, yeah?
Yeah.
Does he have aspirations of like moving down to Camden and like trying to
He just wants to be Liam Gallagher, mate. He wants to be
Liam.
He sent me a picture before. He's at a festival. He's got round glasses on. He's been a load of women round him, and he was giving it this and all that. So yeah, he's got the swagger of a front man, 1,000,000%. He has got the swagger. Yeah,
that's awesome. I'm really big into music too. Before I got into football, I was a DJ for about 10 years, music producer. I put on a bunch of events. I helped with a lot of festivals over here in the United States. I going into that though, Manchester had been on my radar since I was a kid because of the Gallagher Squared. Oasis here, especially growing up, like I told you, I grew up in Pittsburgh. That was on our rock station all the time. Every hour there was at least, it was either Supernova or one of the other majors from the 90s. And because of that, I got into the Smiths, a few of the other Manchester bands, and then even going into further now into time, like the 1975, Sam Fender. I guess he's a Newcastle fan. I just recently saw his video, and he had a big Newcastle United thing behind it. And I kind of was like, I chuckled at it. I was like, well, I guess I can't listen to this song anymore.
There's a younger Manchester City fan called Alex Spencer. You come across him?
Okay.
So if you write him down, Alex Spencer, he's a big City fan, and he's played for the club, in front of the club. He's got a lot of the young up and coming City fans supporting him now. He's such a talented kid. He goes busking a lot in Manchester, drumming it up and that, and he's going to be big. So a lot of the young uns, he had a gig the other week, and his last song, he plays "Rodri's on Fire." Rodri's on fire.
Nice.
So all the young kids. It was brilliant, mate. It was brilliant. And I feel like he's going to be big. He's such a good kid. Big Man City supporter. His family are City supporters and that. And I feel like the City fans, you American guys as well, get behind him, man, because he's such a humble guy. It's really good.
No, as soon as somebody gives me somebody to listen to, that's the first thing I'm on. Like when I get off here and I'm putting everything into wherever it needs to go, I'm going to be looking up Alex Spencer and listening, and I'm going to be like,
get him on the pod. Get him on the podcast. He's a good kid.
Good
kid. Yeah.
I'll have to reach out.
And making connections. Gotta love it.
Joe, throw another one.
So you mentioned Wembley was a big deal. You mentioned Main Road's atmosphere was great. What's a home or away? What match can you think of that pops into the head that has like the most electric atmosphere that you've been to? It could be at the Etihad, Main Road, any away match that really stands out that was just goosebumps the whole time.
I feel like the Real Madrid home game last season, the 4-0, I feel like that was special. I feel like that was like the performance by the team on the pitch and the performance by the fans in the stadium. And even like the Real Madrid newspaper martyr said, we were led into a trap here. It was so hostile. I feel like that was Manchester City. I really think that was Manchester City fans at the best. I feel like that was when we needed to turn up. I remember Vincent Kompany 1-0 against Man United the first year we won the league. The derby, the midweek, we had to turn up for that. We did. They're the Etihad ones that stand out. But I feel like I can't, if you want to mention an atmosphere, I feel like I've got to mention 1 year today. 1 year to today, we was in Navidad Street in Istanbul. And I don't know if
that's right.
Man, the videos from Navidad is unbelievable. And when I say it, like, I've never seen anything like it in my life. It was literally like, it was fucking, I'm getting goosebumps now talking about it. It was unbelievable. And that is when, I remember, I'm sober, me. I don't drink anymore. 5 years sober. And I stood there on Navidad. Thank you. I stood there on Navidad Street. There was flares going off. There were people hanging out of windows. Every single window, there was an head coming out of it with a city top or a pint of beer or whatever. And that's when I thought to myself, the army is at the gates here. And we're storming the castle tomorrow in that stadium. And we're winning that European Cup. I knew it in my head. I thought, there's no way that this army here is going home with nothing. No chance.
Right.
Inter Milan had been run out of town. They were supposed to have Navidad Street, by the way. Then he got took off.
They ran out.
Listen, this is our street, mate. You can do one. And then, but the atmosphere, the whole night on Navidad's was something special that I'll never forget. But other than that, trying to think, the Hamburg one years ago at City, it was always a special atmosphere. But I've been intimidating ones. Napoli was
really.
Napoli was fucking. It was scary place, Naples. Like, you know, it was Naples. I'm a big Diego Maradona fan. You see his top right there.
Yes.
And Napoli has got something. It's got an underbelly of something that I can't describe until you go there. And you go there and you go down the side streets and these little, everyone's got a statue of Maradona. These things popping out of churches of Diego Maradona and all. It's unbelievable. But when I got to the stadium and I seen the fans and the atmosphere and we came out, they came into the ground, the coach was getting bricked from every angle. We got flares thrown at us and that. And then as we're leaving the ground, we were attacked again. And then we got to the airport. And they had a big, massive banner at the airport. And it said, Queen Elizabeth is a whore. And that's as we're flying home. Yeah. So it was literally just mental, mate. They were just on us from the second we landed in Naples to the second we got home. They was on us. You know what I mean? And I always thought, fair play, man. That level of shithousery was I respected it, man.
You had La Cosa Nostra in putting their stamp in there with Napoli, I think, because that's the type of shithousery that I know to be true with a mafia family.
we found ourselves in a very scary situation in one night there, and a lot of the Napoli ultras that came in the bar. We was in one corner. I thought, this is us finished. You know what I mean? And this is a true story. And what happened was, we were getting ready to go because I thought it's going to go here. 100% the fight's going. It's going to be bad. But people had been stabbed and stuff the week before against Bayern Munich, so it wasn't going to be good. And Mario Balotelli appeared on the telly on an Italian channel, and we all started saying, "Oh, Balotelli, he's a striker. It's good." Then one of our group got into a conversation about Balotelli, and it smoothed the atmosphere. Balotelli saved our life. On that day. But they are obsessed with football, like of the highest standard in Naples, like crazy.
Wow. Well, so listen, we have been here for almost an hour. I'm going to give us a 30-second intermission. I think it's due. Then we're going to come back and we're going to electrify this a little bit more. So give us 30 seconds and we'll be right back. All right, back from our little intermission there. Steve, I want to thank you again so much for coming on and hanging out with us and talking and allowing people to get to know you, to get to know us in a mutual standpoint. This is honestly a pinnacle for us. We thought many times that we were not going to even be at this point, and to be able to talk to somebody like you reaffirms our mission. So I want to thank you again for being on here with us and listen to our bullshit questions and just having a good time with us. So
no problem, mate. No problem at all. Listen, everyone that knows me knows that Man City fans, I'll do anything for the fans. Not a problem. You know what I mean? I'm not no YouTube. I don't do enough videos. I'm very lazy when it comes to it. I'm at the match a lot. I try and do a bit of content here and there. I try and defend the club the best I can. But I do it for the fans. Like, I go to the ground and I get so much love off the fans. And every time I've nearly had a wobble and thought, you know what, I'm too busy. I can't be doing this YouTube. I go to a game and then I get mobbed. And I think, you know what, fair play, like, you know. And the day they say to me, Steve, sack it now, mate. We're bored of you. I'll sack it. But my life is a bit different now at the Etihad. It is not as same. I can't just blend in the background and watch the team.
Right.
I can't just slip off. I get a lot of the younger guys on me. Steve, what do you think's going to happen? Steve, help me out. I'm nervous and all that. But listen, I've just enjoyed it. I've gone from being a fan that loves the team to being a fan that's been put in some great positions. But I don't think like I've ever sold my soul. You know what I mean? I'm not a club man. I'm not love the club and love the team, but the fans are first for me. I've always been that. I'll always stand on the side of the fans. If the club do anything wrong, I'll always call it out, regardless if I do any work from or not. I've been on the overlap this year, did the 115 thing on there, defended the club best I could with what I had. I'm back on there on Tuesday with Wayne Rooney doing a England show. You know, if he wants to start getting a bit lippy about City, then me and Rooney will go at it again.
Please do. Please do.
But other than that, you know, a lot of the hate this club gets is jealousy. We know that, you know what I mean. Yeah. But just got to smile in the face of it and keep moving. But no, look, you guys are doing your thing. I respect it. Keep flying the flag. And I say it, you know, I said it on the Kipax one. You know, City fans are a strange bunch. Everyone always City fans look at they try. You know, you're going to get tarnished because you're American. You're going to get tarnished. So we could send 100 Americans over who are the best Americans you've ever seen, and a dickhead American turns up, and everyone will just remember him. You know what I mean? That's the way it is. But what I'm saying is, I've met lots of the guys from Houston and that when I've been in, you know, at games and that, and they're all with us. You know what I mean? They're all together. But I feel like a lot of you guys are really like take it to heart that, you know, you want to be accepted. But I'm telling you now, you're accepted. Yep. If you just be you,
thank you,
and say, listen, we're over here from America. I love City. I'm coming. We're coming here to bring the chanting and that. And don't get me wrong, people are going to take the piss out of you guys because you're American. And we watch them daft videos of all that fight and win and all that shit. We watch all that. Yeah? We know that, yeah? So don't be doing any of that in the South.
It makes us laugh.
But this is what we see, you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Fight and win and all that. So, listen. So, we have it for you guys, yeah? But, listen, I'm telling you now, you won't get a better fan base in Manchester than us. If you come over and you're open and honest and you get to know it, you're getting Mary D's, you meet the guys and that, you'll make friends forever, man. And that's what it's about, you know. We're coming to the States. I'm hoping to get out there to the New York game, and City are coming, you know. So it's like, it's you know, you're going to see a lot of City fans out there. So we're going to need connections out there and stuff like that.
Listen, so that was one of our questions. We were going to save it to the end, but you opened up the can of worms, so we're going to do it now. Are you coming for the preseason to the United States?
But listen, I'm being honest with you, right? I have had a bad back for 6 weeks, right?
Right.
Walking upstairs one day, I pulled me back, right? It's not getting better. I've been to hospitals, I've been to physios, I've been to the Chinese woman down the road who can snap me in half. I've done it all, and it ain't getting better. And I'm really bothered that if I go on a flight to America and I land in America and I can't walk, I'm going to be useless. I don't want to spend my time sat in a hotel room taking painkillers. So I'm playing it by ear to the last second. I'm going to keep going. And if I can get to some sort of comfortable point with this, then I want to go New York. I've got a lot of the New York Blues who've said, oh, come to Amity Hall or whatever it is. And I think the club out there in New York. So I'm hoping to get there, mate. Honestly, I'd love to do it. I'd love it. You know what I mean? I'd love it.
I'm gonna try to persuade you to come to Ohio.
Yeah. Who we playing in Ohio?
Chelsea.
What date's that?
August 3rd.
Yep, August 3rd.
August 3rd. So we're doing 2 games. We're doing the North Carolina one against Celtic, and then we're doing the August 3rd. So the Celtic one's, I think, July 26th or 27th. And then August 3rd is the Chelsea match. That's actually where a lot of the podcasters are going to be.
Let me just think here. Where is this book? Let me have a look. Right, wait there.
Do you think? Hey, I got you thinking about it.
Hey, exactly.
Right, listen. If you want to know about Manchester City, you need to buy this book. Yeah. This book is called To the Blue Moon and Back. Yeah. As you can see on the bottom, I'm on the bottom cover there.
Yep. I remember seeing that book.
This is my mate Nigel, right? And Nigel is the main man at City. Like, he's got so many points. He goes to every game. He goes home and away. He's just booked the American tour. He's going to every single match. Nigel Gregory. You need to buy that book because I feel like this book has got everything about Main Road up to the modern day, and I feel like you guys would benefit a lot from reading it.
You're probably not wrong. I think, and this isn't us trying to toot our own horns here, but we do a lot of deep diving into the history of the club.
Mhm.
One of the things that I see too often with any fan base, not just ours, any fan base, is you don't know your history. Well, there's a lot of history in the sports that I grew up watching, and I'm not going to change this up because I'm watching a new sport. I want to go as far as I can possibly go with my knowledge. I don't care about the recent years. It's great that we've been winning. I came in at a time where it was a good time to be a City fan. Did I know that walking into the 2020-2021 season? I didn't. I didn't care. I hated United that much that I was like, fuck it. I want to be a City fan with my best friend. He was the one that got me into it. Not Joe, Kyle. Sorry you didn't get to meet him. But yeah. Yeah. To be a part of a team, I feel you need to know its history. You need to take the time to deep dive and understand the culture, why fans are the way that they are about certain things. It fills in the context. Because otherwise, you're walking into something and you're just saying, well, I'm here for the party. Like, nobody likes that guy.
No.
Nobody likes the guy that comes over just to steal all your booze and, do up all the things that are in the house and have all the fun they have and then leave when it's not good. We're here for the long haul. We see the love, and it comes from all of you guys over there. Like, we don't really take a lot of what the American fan base does because, in all honesty, and this isn't me trying to throw out super shade to our American fan base, but it's something that I've noticed as a recent. I talked to Joe about it. Is that there are a lot of a lot of the people that didn't grow up watching sports. They chose football or soccer and the MLS, and then changed it over to Premier League at some point in time. And they were the nerds. They're the ones that didn't like sports, but then all of a sudden they liked sports as they got to an adult and wanted something to aspire to and to commit to and to have a camaraderie in. So they chose that sport. Now us coming in, it's like we want to know the more in depth, and we don't want the surface level shit. And we actually want to know the tactics of this game and not just talk rubbish for no reason. And that's a lot of what I find over here with the American supporters, not with this club, more so with other clubs. I will give credit where it's due at the American fan base, where I know a lot more American fans that know a lot more about City than United fans know about their own club in the States. So, what were you going to say? I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying that there's a lot in this book about America because he's done every American tour. So it honestly, and somebody put in the chat there, 500 games on the bounce, Nigel, and he did. He's done 500 games on the bounce, and he's been unwell. He's had heart issues. But listen, people say, "Oh, Big Steve's a home and away Man City fan." This guy, I'm not a patch on this guy. This guy is next level, mate. Like next level, and I'm privileged to call him a friend. And I've sit many away games with him now, and we have good chats. But that book, his life's work's gone into that book. It's an absolutely fucking brilliant book, honestly, and he deserves it. So you guys get that book off Amazon. I think it's Amazon in the States, man. Get it, read it. And Nigel's on Instagram, but he's very shy. But definitely drop him a message and say, "Look, Big Steve said that you're the man. Do you want to come on our podcast?" I'll have a quiet word with him. Get him on there. He'll be in at them 2 games you're at. Link up with him. He goes on his own. So he'll be sat in a diner somewhere on his own. Link up with him and get him out with you guys and get him out there. I'll tell you, it'd be great.
Listen, if you're backing that, I will go and do that.
Do it. Say Big Steve said we've got to invite you out for a drink on them games and go and take him for a beer because he deserves a beer. Trust me. And he's got stories like you've never seen.
I just want to listen to all of them. All of them.
Honestly, stories you've never seen.
Joe, sling me a couple more questions, Big Steve.
Since we're kind of talking about the U.S. right now, it seems like the club is pushing more and more towards expanding into the U.S. What do you think about that investment the club's making? They own an MLS club, the City Football Group does. Seems like they're coming over here more and more regularly. We were at the game in Green Bay, and now they got 4 games this summer, and then next summer they're coming over for the Club World Cup. Is this something that you've heard over there, that they're looking to grow more in the U.S. side? And what are your thoughts on the club trying to grow more over here in the States?
No, I think City have got a very, very strong position in the States. They know that, you know, it's getting bigger football over there. Soccer's getting bigger over there. I don't know if you've seen the rumor about
soccer.
I said it out of respect.
Okay.
I get punched in the face. If I said that in a pub here. But I don't know if you've seen the rumors about Pep maybe going to New York in May next year. I know there's a bit of truth in that. Like it's not as far fetched as what you believe.
You're right.
This could happen because he likes New York. There's a project in New York that is not as intense as the project in Manchester. So I'm not saying he's going to go over there for a holiday, but it's a lot more easier, the life and everything out there in New York, to manage New York City than it would to be going anywhere else. And I believe that that is an option. And I don't know what, but City have got Calhoun's a very persuasive man. The Manchester City fans can be very persuasive. So you know, that might happen, or Pep could do a U-turn and stay again, which we'd all love. But I feel like City, with the new stadium coming to New York, I feel like there's big investment out there. And I feel like, you know, you look at the football group and the clubs that they've got and the continents where they are. And we've got to keep Pep Guardiola in this football group, by the way. So if he's leaving Manchester City, he has to stay in this group. He has to stay in this group.
He has to
even if he becomes the director of football of the Man City group, and he goes all around the world. 2 months he's in Girona, having a look at that situation, seeing what could be improved. Then he flies out to Mumbai, you know, then he's out into China, whatever. That would be great. But depends on Pep, you know, whether he wants that role, but we're only speculating. But I do believe that the New York thing, starting with a new stadium, maybe taking a Kevin De Bruyne over there to open the stadium. The City football group's going to have something planned. When that stadium opens at New York, that first season, they're going to need a marquee signing. They're going to need a marquee that's going to blow them.
Especially in that market.
Yeah, of course. Because
it's a 2-team market. It's a 2-team market. You got Red Bulls and you got NYCFC. And those are very competing markets. Even though this is the MLS, it's not as competitive as we see over with the Premier League or Bundesliga or La Liga. But if you're bringing over such a name as Kevin De Bruyne and putting him in the side with NYCFC, and he's going against New England and Philly and all of these powerhouse East Coast teams, it's going to create more of a frenzy to want to watch the MLS. I still can't find the luster in it because of promotion and relegation or the lack thereof. But we have 2 leagues over here where it's very possible that it could happen, but they refuse to do it.
I think that takes a lot out of the sport if you don't have the promotion and relegation.
Thank you.
Because something's got to keep you on the toes. You can't just play shit and think, well, it doesn't matter, we'll go again next year. You need to think, oh shit, we're going to slide towards this trapdoor. We need to be getting our ass together here, or so people are going to leave. We're going to struggle to make, and that's when you see, in this country, you see it a lot where a team will get great attendances in the Premier League, but when they drop to the Championship, a lot fall off. And then you often see teams drop to the Championship, then drop again. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not good, man. But
I think the big thing as to why promotion and relegation doesn't transpire so well in the U.S. is because of the distances between all of the cities. I mean, a lot of people don't realize how big the United States really is. The East Coast, just in itself, New England to New York, that's just the country of England. That's not including Scotland and Wales and Ireland and North Ireland, So try to do the promotion and relegation. You get a lot of these teams where they've got the same city, where you got like an LA team and then you've got 2 other LA teams. Same in New York. You've got a New York understudy, and then you've got the 2 prime teams in New York. Philly, DC, where we're located around. And we have DC United, but then we also have Loudoun County or Loudoun Valley or whatever they're fucking called in the USL, which could be is actually a subsidiary of DC United in its own way. To do the promotion relegation thing for us, it would have to be in towns where I live. I live 63 miles northwest DC in a sister town of England called Winchester. It would take having to get to small little towns like that and creating a club within those towns to then start that whole system of being able to do promotion, relegation, and building yourselves up or down through leagues. But again, going back into the pay-to-play system, me and Joe both have kids that play in the American system. We spend close to, by the time they get into high school, we're talking about 5 figures just for them to play.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy that. It's crazy.
And that's just for one kid. I got 2 that are.
Yeah, he's got 2 girls.
My wage bill is pretty high for getting them to play in travel ball, which is crazy. So
it's mad that I can't. It's crazy that. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I wish on everything that history didn't happen the way that it did, and King George wasn't a bell end at the time that we decided to leave, because I think we would all still be there. I think we would all be hanging out in the same stadium probably. But no, I'm just kidding. I'm just fucking around. Let's see. So one of the questions that I had for you, and I know that we all have this, every single one of us to an extent. Steve, I want to know what your match day rituals are.
Well, it's a lot different to what it was. Let's put it that way. When it didn't involve alcohol.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So if you're drinking, your big games, you're meeting up early morning, 8 a.m., 9 a.m. You go into to find a local cafe, have a full English breakfast. Then you're getting into a pub early doors. You know the landlord, get him to open up early doors, meet all the boys inside the pub, get on the beers early. And then basically go to the game. A lot of the time, the game used to ruin the day out. You know what I mean? The worst part of the game was the worst part of the day was the game. Go to the game, like you say, sing your heart out. Either come back to the pub and drown your sorrows, or come back to the pub and celebrate. That was basically my life. But now it's a little bit different. I don't drink, so I just tend to get up now. Like to watch a bit of the build up on the TV in the morning to see about if there's any injury news, etc., etc. Tend to do a couple of little TikTok videos just saying, look, Blues, we got to do this today, or we're looking forward to this, And I sort of get to the ground a little bit early and have a little stroll around, because sometimes I get a lot of people who say, I'm coming over from America, can I meet you? And I'll say, look, if I was in the pub, I'd say, yeah, come to this pub. But if I'm not, I'll say, look, I'm going to walk past this place, whatever, do that. And then get in the South Stand early, have a chicken balti pie. Yeah, you probably never heard of that, chicken balti pie.
I have.
And just talk to the fans and get the feeling of it and what you do. And then I'm in the South Stand, I'm singing my heart out, I'm trying my best. And come on. Do me ritual video on TikTok on the way out of the stadium, 60 seconds of how I feel. I just find that I used to take a day or two to process it, then do a video on YouTube. Now I tend to just split second outside the game as I'm walking back to my car. I tend to do a 60-second review. And I feel like it gets the true emotion out of there to me. People see the actual how I'm feeling at that time. Whether we win or lose, I say the same. And yeah, get home now, take away, watch match of the day. So I've gone a bit boring now. I've gone a bit boring. Plus the European away games now, because I've saved a bit of money without the drinking, I tend to get there the day early and leave a day late. So I can relax. Them days of sleeping on airport floors and beaches and sleeping in doorways, I'm past that now.
Yeah. We're all at that age where we're post 37. Even then, that's saying like 27 was probably our pinnacles of life. Let's be real.
Nikki knows me. Nikki was one of them people that used to get on the beers. So, but them days, Mary D's were fun. The beer used to soften the blow. I can't lie. Used to come out of into Mary D's and like, I don't know if you've ever been in Mary D's, but in the back room there's a massive room.
Yeah,
and the floor used to get it used to be filled with beer about this deep. Yeah, after the game, beer because people
plastic cups.
Yeah, plastic cups, shite. So then what happened is they'd form a big circle, yeah? They'd form a big circle and people would take the tops off and slide across the floor in Mary D's, slide right out to the back, yeah? The beer slide. Nicky knows the game, right? Honestly, if there's any videos on YouTube of the beer slide, it was mental. But we were mental. We just watched our team get levered off Bolton Wanderers. We had nothing else to go home for. We got no misses and kids because no one would be with us because we're at the match every week. So we just used to slide around on our beer base. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's just an unbelievable club, mate. Honestly, it's fantastic. And listen, one day when we're shit again, we'll go back to the annual beer slide and we'll invite you over for it.
Oh, I'm there. I'm 100% there. And listen,
while you're on it, right? She's just mentioned there TOJ. Do you know what that is?
No, she said that earlier, and I wasn't exactly sure on it, and I didn't want to interrupt conversation to ask. Go ahead, tell us.
Right, basically, he's a legend amongst Manchester City folk, yeah. And she's
he's a local?
No, it's a she. Right?
Oh, she's a local. Okay.
And she's called Tits Out Jackie. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Hold on. This isn't Jackie that runs the governor's page on Facebook, right?
Yes.
Oh,
she is the legendary Tits Out Jackie. Yeah. Now, Jackie, she's on TalkSport. She's on the governor's page.
Yes.
Tits Out Jackie. Honestly, absolute legend. She's got songs about her. She's got CDs.
Exactly.
She's a legend, man.
So I've been on the governor's page since I started watching. Michael Francis, all the old ultras. I love talking to them. Absolutely love talking to them. That's crazy that you brought that up.
But wow. Jackie is brilliant, and she defends the club so well, and she's brilliant.
Yeah, she does.
Passionate. But she's a character. Man. She's a character. Back in the day, no shit's given. Jackie's in a boozer. The fans would be singing, "Jackie, get your tits out." They're out. That's the way it was. That's it. Yeah, we had nothing else to cheer for, man. Now we're winning things. No one's asked about Jackie's tits, but when we didn't have an out it's a nice ending. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's crazy. But she's a legend. Big up Jackie. She's one of the best out there.
Big up Jackie.
Yeah, TOJ. So you ever see TOJ? Only the ones that know the TOJ, man.
Now I know forever, and I will never. It's locked into the circle right now for everybody who already knows.
Brilliant, mate. Brilliant.
Awesome.
It's a legend.
Awesome.
It's a legend.
Joe, why don't you shoot off one of your last two questions?
You've got had the pleasure of meeting a lot of the players in person. Mm-hmm. What are they to like? We see what they're like through videos, through what the club puts out on social media, what we see on TV and interviews. What are they like in real life? Are they all seem extremely genuine and real people? What's your experience been like when you had the opportunity to meet the players? Yeah,
well, to me as a fan, like to get to some of the opportunities when I've been working for City at the club and I've seen them and that, I'm a bit of a fanboy, so I'm a bit like I can get a bit starstruck. So I've had to be like sometimes I've had to be like FG who works with me, he'll pull me and go, Steve, compose yourself, and I'm like, but I'm one of the lads, you know what I mean? So I'm like,
right.
Is my first real opportunity with him was when we won the treble, and I'd come back from Istanbul. I was determined to get to the parade. I'd landed in London at 5, and I sped down the motorway, and I got to the parade with 10 minutes to go. And then I had an invite to the staff party because I'd been working for City TV over the years. So they said, "Oh, we got a staff party, Steve. Do you want to go?" I wasn't going to go because I thought I'm still in my shorts from Istanbul. And I hadn't been home, and I'd been to the Charity Shield, and then I flew to Istanbul. I hadn't seen my kids, and I thought, you know what, I'll go. So I went. Felt a little bit out of place. I was walking about. I felt still a bit like whatever. And then the players were in a separate part. And then somebody came and grabbed me and said, "Look, the guys want you to come in with the players bit." So I was like, "Shit, this is happening." And then obviously I bumped into Haaland, who me and him had exchanged some Instagram messages before.
This was last season, right?
This last season, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So we'd exchanged some. When City won the league, I got an Instagram message off him saying with a shark and saying like,
yes,
I said about the shark outside Arsenal, and I was like, no way. And I'm thinking they're messaging me when they've won the league. So when I've met him, he was brilliant with me. You know, he was all, "Steve, how you doing? Brilliant. We've done it," and all that. All the players were sound. I was talking to Gundogan. I was talking to Akanji. I was talking to all the guys. Some of the guys knew me. Foden knew who I was, which is a bit mad for me. Ruben Diaz, etc. But they're all such a humble bunch, and I think that's how Pep has them. I don't think he will have any like egos in that team. I think you've got to be down to earth. And I felt out of place, but I stood there. I felt out of place, but I was just. Jack Grealish was amazing with me. Jack was on me. He was having a good time. The kit men and that, brilliant. And then
I love
this
him too.
This season, I've been pitch side, so I've seen the players. I was fortunate to be on the pitch at Old Trafford at the end of the game when the players came to the away fans. It was probably one of my best football moments because I was at a pitch in a ground that I hated, and my team had just levered them, and I was on the pitch with the players, and Edison came straight over to me and gave me a hug. So I'm on the pitch at Old Trafford. We've just beat Man United. The whole city end is bouncing. I've got the players on one side, all the fans and supporters that I love on the other side. It was just, honestly, I could have burst into tears. I was like, yes. I'm walking off the pitch, and the United fans are going, "You fucking this, blue bastard, this, da. And I was doing the Balotelli. I was just winking, and that. And it was winding them up to death, but I loved it, man. I loved it. And then this season, I've done a few things. I've obviously... interviewed a few players, etc. But I went to the parade.
On
Netflix, yeah. I went to the parade. And the love I got at the parade of people, I've never seen anything like it. I was supposed to actually go to the front and do something, but I couldn't get through the crowd because I was having that many pictures and selfies. And then after that, I went to the party again. I seen Benjani. I seen Dickov, who's a friend of mine now. Sean Wright Phillips, who's a friend of mine. So it's a bit mad, but all I can say is the players are brilliant. They're absolutely fantastic. They're superstars, but they're so humble. And when you see a player say like, "Oh, I appreciate you, Steve," online, you know, flying the flag for the fans and that, it makes it all worth it. You know what I mean? It makes it all worth it.
Steve, I don't think you understand sometimes. You really are the big brother for all of us. You are. When I think of City fandom, the first name that comes to mind is you. You are the speaker for all of us.
I appreciate that. I do get that a lot.
One of the reasons why we brought you on here, and because we have followed you so closely, and even between conversations you and I, on Instagram, I just you speak the words that we all want to say every single week. It doesn't matter what week it is. We, in spite of our rage, in spite of our gloating, in spite of our whatever emotion it may be that week, you break it down and you say the logical thing. And that is what makes me love you so much. Like, listen to your shows, listen to what you got to say. You help me understand the game better. Not as somebody who's ignorant, but somebody who spends day in and day out trying to learn this game. And because not only am I a fan, I'm a coach. So is Joe. We're coaches. You speak for all of us, and I couldn't think of a better face for this franchise to our fan base than you, honestly.
You know what? I do get that a lot, and a lot of them say, "Steve, you say it how you want to say it," and I get that, and that makes me proud because I just say it how I think I should say it. I just say it. I don't get swayed by an opinion. If I
No.
go against the grain, I go against the grain. I'm not trying to cause any trouble.
Conviction.
Yeah,
You do it with
I'm
conviction.
like, yeah, I'm on it. I'm not having no one talk smack about me. When I went on that overlap, then we were going on about 115. It was a hatchet job. I got on there. There was no mention of 115. Then I was told, oh, we're just doing this little segment, 115 thing at the end. And I thought, here we go. They're trying to make a mockery out of me. And I got rival fans saying, you think you're part of the team. He thinks he plays for City. I go home and away with Man City. And I believe I love this club more than anything. So I believe I'm a part of the club. I don't play for the club. I go week in, week out. It's a big commitment as a man at 42-year-old to go and travel as many miles with a thing. But I'm there week in and week out. I'm there for the City supporters. I do things for so many charity events, so many things that people don't know about. So some dickhead says to me, oh, he thinks he plays centre-half for City. I just laugh because Erling Haaland isn't DMing him. Jack Grealish isn't speaking to him. You know, these people can say what they want. They're on the pitch at Old Trafford. So I don't think I'm part of the team, but I tell you what, I feel like I've got a lot more respect of my supporters than a lot of these online guys have got of their supporters. There's guys in this online space that can't go and watch their own team because they will get abused or physically attacked. Right. I get love everywhere I go. Everywhere I go. People say, keep going, Steve, and people and all that. And yeah, there's probably people that don't like me. There's probably people that are jealous. There's actually people think I work for Sheikh Mansour and get all my tickets for free. Now, if Sheikh Mansour's watching and he wants to send me 30 years of free tickets of what I've spent,
please do. I'll take it. No.
At the end of the day, there's one thing, and the people in the chat know this. I don't take nothing off Manchester City for free. Nothing. Even if they give me a shirt, I give it away. I went to Istanbul. They give me a Grealish shirt and a Haaland shirt. I got off the stage. I give it to 2 kids. My mate said, why have you done that? I said, because it's made their day. It's not going to make my day. Do you know what I mean? And I do things for the club. A kid in Istanbul, a young kid, asked me, would I go to his birthday party in July? And I said on Navidad Street, I'll come to your birthday party, mate. Don't worry. I forgot all about it. His dad messaged me and said, Steve, I know you're a busy man. He said, can you come to his birthday party? I said, when is it? He went, it's at TGI Fridays on this night. I turned up at this kid's birthday party with the Champions League trophy, the replica. I put it on his table. I had my picture with him. The kid was crying his eyes out. I didn't do that for anything. I didn't even get any chips. I just went there and done it because I promised the kid in Navidad Street, what you got to do. People can say, I hate that fan and that. A, they're jealous of us. B, they don't like it because I say it how it is. And C, they can't ridicule me. I don't sit in a bedroom watching the game. I don't sit slagging my players off. I'm on the front line week in, week out, home and away, Europe, everywhere. And I've got a busy lifestyle and I've got kids and all that. But I'm there. I'm there for the fans. I'm there in the trenches. If it goes in the trenches, I'm with them in the trenches. And I'm there everywhere. And that's what, I'll always do. And if Man City don't want to use me on content, no problem. Give it someone else. I always say, MCFC lads, City should be using him. He's a young kid. He loves the club. He's home and away. He's passionate. He's elegant. I say to City all the time, get him involved. But they're not getting involved. But, one day, maybe. But I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm all right. I'm having a good time. Near the end of the season, it gets a bit tiring, when you get a little bit burnt out. I know that sounds daft. This is when the dickheads say, you're not playing. You'll be tired. But when you're traveling motorway miles and flights and landing and moving things around and business meetings, you're juggling too many plates, man. You know what I mean? But
no, you're not wrong in that. You're absolutely not wrong in that, and we can attest to that as podcasters of this club. Prior to us being the Snobby Boys, I actually ran a podcast called 3 Points in a Pie. We did that for a year. We transitioned a former host of ours to City After Dark. Within Green Bay happened and Snobby Boys, whatever. Throughout the year, as podcasters, just the podcasters, we don't even live there. We don't go to the games every week, but we do have to take the time as people who have children that play the sport or coach the sport. We have to break our time apart. Because we are loyal to this club. We watch every match, whatever. It is tiring it becomes tiring probably about 3/4 of the way through the season doing this and being on top of things and getting the most current news and doing the things that we do. So I totally understand where you're coming from. It is tiring at this time of the year. Us booking you to be on here, like, I thought that was crazy. I was like, holy shit, he said yes. Like, I didn't think that was going to happen.
Did you see?
Not because I didn't think you're a good guy, but
no, I'll always do it. There's a comment there, City Luke. He says, on a personal note, Steve saved my life. Yeah?
Yes.
Well, let me tell you about this, right? I didn't save his life. He saved his own life. I just told him the truth. I said, if you carry on drinking and doing what you're doing, you're going to be dead. A lot of Manchester City fans, you might not know this, but over this last 12 months, we lost quite a few City fans from suicide, from mental health, from drug abuse. It's a real problem. Yeah, it's a real problem. I just looked at Luke and said, look, you're going down a path where you ain't coming back. So I said to him, give up the booze and you'll be sound. Trust me, do it. And he said, 1 month off the booze, whatever. And I said, brilliant. I said, if you go 12 months off the booze, I'll take you out for a meal. Any restaurant you want in Manchester and I'll pay for it. He's now done 12 months off the booze. I am taking him for a meal in Manchester. But let me tell you this. The guy you see now to the guy that was before, the guy before was a nuisance. He was a pain in the ass. He was on a downward spiral. He was not going anywhere. But now he looks so healthy. He looks so fresh. His job and life, he's brilliant. He set up his new channel, City Luke TV. Go and follow him, by the way. And he's a shining example to a lot of these young lads at the match that if you really want to do it, you can do it. And there's a lot of people out there. And I can only advise people and say and tell him the truth. I could have blown smoke up his ass and told him to get another drink and do this, but I didn't. I said to him, you look a fucking mess. You're a bit of a joke. Look what's happening to the other people. Sort the booze out. And there's a real big problem in football culture in the UK at the minute with it, because football, around football, involves drinking beers and doing other stuff. And it's scary, man. It's scary.
I totally understand where you're coming from. Somebody who was deep into the EDM culture. Like I said, I worked for a few festivals, big name festivals. I'm not going to put super big names out there that I know or anything like that. I did work for Lost Lands, if you know who that is, if you're into dubstep over in the UK. Excision, he's the guy that runs it. He was my boss for 2 years. Living that life. Day in and day out, party. I love the fact that you took Luke and you said, hey, dude, listen, you're fucking up. I want to see you do better. And he did it. That's a testament to this club. That's a testament to humanity more than anything.
Luke travels 3 hours every game from Middlesbrough down to Manchester for the match.
Oh, okay.
So you got to give him credit, man. You know, you got to give him credit. But no,
absolutely.
he done it himself. And there's a time when there's no football and nobody's there to hold your hand. They're the dark times when you've got to be strong, and you've got to give him credit to it. And he's done really well for himself. I'm proud of him.
Dude, in all honesty, like I'm not a drinker. I drink when I'm on the show to loosen me up, to have some fun with you guys. Honestly, after this show, I don't think I want to pick up the booze again.
Listen, the only way I can describe it is if you're good on the beer and you enjoy it, and you know it doesn't affect your life and it's just a social beer, then drink. If you find yourself every bad moment or every stupid thing you do evolves around when you've had alcohol, then you've got a problem. And I promise you that if you eliminate that from your life, every decision you make is from a clear mind. Every decision you make stands with you. And I've never earned so much money. I've never had so much opportunity. I've never had so much time with my kids. And I've never, ever met so many good people and had so many good friends when I've given up the booze. Because the alcohol did not agree with me. It was a way of blocking out shit and getting down. And it only ever ended up in tears. And like I say, I'm 5 years. I'll never drink again. On Navidad Street, I'd always said, if City win the treble, I'll have a beer. Right? And that was the plan. I was going to have this big blowout. And I met one of my oldest friends on Navidad Street, and he said to me, you done well giving up the beer. And I said to him, look, if City win tomorrow, I'm going to get on it. And he said, are you crazy? And I was like, what? He went, after what you've done, where you've come, are you crazy? He went, don't do that. Don't do that. And he's the only one that said that to me. but it stuck in my head. And the night we won the European Cup, we came out, and I went to Navidad's with the boys, and I just drank Diet Coke. But I had the best time of my life, and now I can do that comfortably. You know what I mean?
And honestly, I feel like there's a lot of us that need to even get to that point of doing things in a sobriety sense and taking in every little bit that you get. Because I mean, let's be honest, when you drink, whatever, you lose your memories. You lose specific parts of that day, specific parts of that match, a special moment you may have had with another person. I think it is. I, I'm not trying to have a fucking sob story when we bring on Big Steve. If you guys have been around for a little while, Joe and I as the Snobby Boys, we brought back my best friend Kyle. And I'm not trying to put his business out on blast, but all in the same, I hope he finds the help that he needs. We axed him from the show because of his alcoholism. Mm-hmm. He's probably one of the coolest people ever. Have the greatest conversations. Can bring you to loving a team such as this. And I don't have him here today because of it. I hope that he's sitting here watching and he's heard the words that you've spoken and he's hearing the words that are coming out of my mouth right now. We're going to go to the summer series. We're going to have some fun, Joe. We're going to have some fun this summer. But you will, for anybody that has subscribed to our channel today, previously, I'm not drinking anymore. I'm not doing it. I said I was going to be off of it months ago. I was off of it for months. I loosened up because I was nervous to talk to Steve tonight, if I'm being honest. I was extremely nervous to talk to you. You just gave me another glimmer of hope. This is the second one you've given me in a month. So thank you for that.
Listen, you need Luke. So Luke will be a friend of the channel now. Luke's doing things. Get him on it, doing it. And like you say, it's not doom and gloom. It's real life. I shared a moment in Istanbul with a friend of mine, a young lad. There was two young lads. Last year, every away game used to peck my head. Jake and Wilkie. They know who they are. Well, so every away game, Steve, this, we love you, Steve. And he used to say, listen, these two, they're off their head. They're drinking, they're pecking me head. And they used to make a joke of it, say, oh, we was pecking your head in Leipzig. We were doing this. We won the treble in Istanbul. We shared a moment together. We all had we all had a cuddle and that. And we had the best time ever. And then I got the news after Istanbul that Wilkie had died. He's 24 years old. He was high on drugs and he died. He had an heart attack and he was bad. I went to his funeral, yeah? Well, all the young lads are there in City shirts, the Coffin City and everything. They carried him in. I've never been as heartbroken in my fucking life, right? And only a few months before we were in Madrid, we were partying and all that. And I looked around and I thought, there's a lot of these young guys are going down this road. And I've been a little bit, I've got 6 or 7 I'm constantly in contact with now that I'm saying, how are you doing and all that. And it's real life, man. If you're walking a lad, if you're carrying a coffin into a church and he's 24 years old, it's fucking bad news, man. It's bad news. Yeah. And like you say, what
a wake-up call.
We'd give anything to have him back. He was a life and soul of the party. And it's not just that. It's affected his dad and his mum. And a lot of these young lads had fell off and that. But thankfully now everyone's galvanised. We've got the memory of Wilkie and that. And it was just a bad time. And one of my best friends, he committed suicide. Biggest City fan. If you look on my page, we had his funeral. He was one of the old school governors and that, one of the respected lads. He just literally, 1 minute he's singing on the karaoke, life and soul of the party. Next minute he's killed himself. So this shit is real life, and it does around football. And I was calling for Manchester City for a long time to introduce a mental health charity in partnership with the club, and they have done now. And I feel like the fans have got somewhere to go. I know we didn't want to go doom and gloom on this show, lads. And
no. But
it's a real life thing.
It is. Yeah.
It's just gone down that road. So it's just experience with experience. So although people look and think, oh, these Man City fans are having the time of their life, we're having great time. But but there's also bad times associated with football. You know what I mean? And it's just there's some nice stories coming out of this now where.
Absolutely.
People are starting to realise that the drink and the drugs is not the be end and end all. The love for the football is more, and it's dragging people. The love's dragging people over the line. So a lot of these Man City players and a lot of things Pep Guardiola's doing in that it's changing lives for the good, man.
Well, and this is bigger than us, and I think as humans, that's something we look for in life. We look for something that's a little bit bigger than us that we can aspire to, that we can relate to, that we can call on in a moment of weakness or even a moment of strength. This club has been all that for all of us in every little crevice or facet it may be. Mental health is something that we should be talking about, especially in today's day and age. And of course, I did not want it to go down this route. I had a very fun, all the way through thing, and it's just led down this road. But let's take the moment.
No, it's good.
Andy's Man Club has been something I've had my eye on for a couple of years now, and I would absolutely love for it to come over here to the U.S. and be more prevalent because, honestly, a lot of American males need that. We need the camaraderie. We need the proverbial pat on the ass to get us going. Andy's Man Club is something that I have seen be an absolute positive to the community over there, whatever city it may be in, whether it's in Leeds, whether it's in London, Birmingham, doesn't matter. I've seen the good that has come out of that, and being able to talk to anybody about it, it shows two things. It shows that you're strong enough to attack your emotions and make them right, but then also the person that's receiving it that gives good vibes back shows that they're a good person, and it shows that you have a good friend in life. You have those type of people. I know that me and Joe have that. I can talk to him about anything at any given point in time. We understand each other, especially as being fathers. And Steve, you can attest to this too, as being a father. There's a lot of times where we struggle in thinking that we are the best fit or the best soundboard for our children. Having men around you to confirm or reaffirm that you are the good man that you think that you are, and you're doing the right thing by your family, or you're by yourself, or whatever it may be. We really do need that nowadays, and that doesn't just stretch to men. That goes to men and women.
No, it's big now in England, and I just believe that football is such a big area where men go there after a week's work away from the family, and they release a lot of tension, whether it be singing, whether it be having the odd scrap, whether it be having 20 pints, whether it be doing drugs. And I feel like that's a dangerous environment if you're not in control of yourself. And like I say, City's took a step to doing it. The City community and the fans we deal with, I'm sober. I look around the ground or in Madrid, and I can see someone that's struggling. And I said it to a few, and I've said, "Are you all right?" Yeah. Oh, I'm just a bit this, I'm just a bit that. And then you have a bit of a chat. And then if I see someone who looks like he's doing really well, I'll say, "You look really well, man. I seen you at the funeral and you looked a bit down. You look really well." And then they'll say, "Oh, thank you for that. I needed that." So I think it's just about being alert and seeing what's around you and that. But like you said, football, we all love football, but it can have a little dark side, which I think the clubs have got a bit of a responsibility to at least offer some sort of support. Yeah, and I think they do now.
It is. And that's great that they're finally coming to the aid and understanding that not just for the fan, but even as far down as the player, the support is needed 110%. Doesn't matter where it comes from. The fact that anybody gives you some kind of support can brighten the next 10 years of somebody's life. And you just don't know what a day can bring.
No, it's good. But listen, we've talked about it. We've spoke about it. We've gone down that path. We've had a moment, shared a moment across the pond, and we're all right. We know where we are. We're making new friends, and no, it's good, lads. It's good. But listen, absolutely. It's been a great podcast. I've loved it, man. Any more questions? Keep coming. I'm not bothered, me. Keep going.
Okay. I think we got a couple more questions, and then we're gonna wrap it up. We got a little bit of a present for you, but we'll get there when we get there. So this is kind of going back to something you said earlier. I know we're running up on 2 hours. Ticket holder since '89. We were 2 years old when that happened. 2 years old. What year growing up was the most special for you as a supporter for City?
I mean, '99 was to get to the journey to get to Wembley and to be 2 down and to come up and up. That was special because that's the first time I'd ever really seen Manchester City do anything. You know what I mean? And to be on that journey with the players, that was my team. You know what I mean? My lads. That was a special year. And then the ones that stand out is obviously the Mancini, the Aguero moment. You know what I mean? I can't ever describe how that felt. It was like, it was just unbelievable. The noise when that goal went in, I've never heard anything like it.
Manchester United have done all they can. That Rooney goal was enough for the 3 points. Manchester City are still alive here. Balotelli, Aguero!
Unbelievable.
I'm still getting goosebumps.
Every time. Every time.
People that have been around for years, friends of mine crying, bursting to tears, people on the floor. It was you couldn't pick a better way to win it. And like you say, that was so special. And then last year, the treble, man. The treble.
Sure.
All them years I've had that treble rammed down my throat. All them years I've been told that no one will ever do the treble. The songs they used to sing, you'll never win the treble, like Phil and Gary Neville, Vincent Company, you'll never win the treble and all that. And then to go and win the treble, but not only go and win the treble, to beat them along the way, when they've had a perfect chance to stop us doing the treble, was unreal. And I feel like the Real Madrid game, the Bayern Munich game, the Inter game, I just feel like last season was like unbelievable. And then when I finally got my chance to have my picture with the treble, I couldn't believe it. The Champions League trophy scared me to death because I've seen it a few times.
Yep.
And I never touched it, man. I never touched it. And if anyone ever touched it, I used to say, why are you fucking touching that? Because you just bad looked it now. Wait here.
Exactly.
Watch this.
All right.
And now I've got my own.
Oh, you bastard. Oh, that's awesome.
Hey, proper. Look. Proper.
How much does that set you back? 20K? 30K?
Nah, 2K.
Oh, what?
2K. Yeah.
That's it?
So every single morning when I wake up, I walk past and I give it the nod. Morning. Because we've done it.
I would kiss it too.
It's amazing, mate. It's amazing. But me and that trophy did not see eye to eye until last season. It broke my heart many times. But when I seen Rodri lifting that and the boys, Gundogan, I was like, fucking hell, man. That's what football is about. That is what they used to tell me would never win. You'll never see your team win the European Cup. And we've done it. And we've done a treble as well. So, listen, that was the best year last year. That was the one where I went on the journey. And after the game, we gone in Navidad Street. Some guy comes up to me, says, Steve. Says, what? He goes, are you having a tattoo? I said, what do you mean? He went, we're all having treble tattoos around the corner at this place. I said, show me the place. I've gone round to the place, right? It's selling women's clothes, kebabs, and doing tattoos. Now, so you can imagine what kind of place this is, yeah? So we're all there, full of like, Champions League energy. And I ended up walking out of there with my treble tattoo.
I saw that. I was going to ask you if it was that one. Yeah. I was going to ask you if it was that one.
Oh, instead of taking a fridge magnet back from Istanbul, I ended up with a tattoo from the kebab shop. But I tell you what, when I'm sat on the beach on holiday or I'm watching the TV, sometimes my shorts ride up a tiny little bit and a little Istanbul pokes out the bottom and it makes me smile. So, yeah, it was good, man. It was good.
Dude. Jealous of your life. That's all I got to say. Listen, Steve, Well, you've been here with us for almost 2 hours. I want to thank you again so much for having us.
No problem, mate.
Have you? We look forward to doing this again with you. Maybe even potentially on yours.
You can come in
but
fine anytime you want. Anytime you want.
Bet. All right. Well, we'll get in contact about that. But because we're so appreciative of you coming on the show tonight and hanging out with us and talking and all that stuff, we want to give you a free shirt from our merch shop. So after we're done here, we'll get all your information. Tell us which one you want, and we'll get that sent out to you.
Brilliant, mate. I appreciate that. Listen, I've had a great time. Always talk about City. Always talk about some stories. We got a little bit deep, but it's a good podcast. We've got a bit of everything covered, and I tell all the City fans just to follow you guys and subscribe, and just keep doing what you're doing. Some months you're going to look and think, you know what, the subscribers ain't moving up. It ain't about that. It's about the quality and actually having something to say. If you keep churning out shit, and people just get bored of it. So when you've got nothing to say, that's, in my opinion, time. You don't need to say it. Just relax, chill out, look after you, do your thing with your kids and your family. When you've got something to say, I feel like you that's the right time. That's what I do. I can go 2-3 weeks, nothing. And then I can think, you know what? I'm going to jump on and speak to people. And I feel like, it's not quantity, it's quality. And I feel like you guys have got a good chemistry. Keep flying the flag and get in contact with the club, man. Get in contact with the club. Send an email. It's worth sending and say, we're fans in here. This is where we're going to be. Is there anything we can do? Get involved. And like you say, the club are quite proactive with that. So get involved.
Well, that makes us a little bit more inept to want to do that, because when you said that before, I was like, that sounds like a good idea, but I'm not sure. But you're telling me to do it. This is now twice. Told me twice. I'm going to do it. Steve, thank you again. I hope that we, again, like I said, we get to do this again, maybe later beginning of next season, maybe later into next season. Whatever the bill fits. I'm going to probably be over there for my birthday, so that's February. If I make it over there,
come.
I'm shaking your hand.
Listen, if you come over here, if you come in for a game, we'll sort the game out and we'll link up. I'll tell you where to stay. We'll pick you up. We'll go to Mary D's and I'll introduce you to everybody. You'll just make friends for life, mate. You'll make friends for life. Get some stickers made with your podcast on. We'll slap them all over Mary D's.
Oh, I'll do that. I'll do that. Yeah. Awesome, man. So before we wrap it out here, I'm going to let Steve plug himself to everybody who doesn't already know him. I'm sure they do, but I'm going to give him the floor anyways.
If you don't know me, it's at Big Steve MCFC. That is on Instagram. That is on TikTok and YouTube. So thanks for your support. And there's some great interviews on my channel with past City players, Uwe Rosler, Gail Clichy, Julian Lescott, Gerard Vikens. So, watch away. And thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. Make sure you catch them in the Treble Winner Netflix documentary. If you haven't seen it already, go check it out. Until then, I'm gonna leave. What do I leave Steve with, man? So many good songs. Let's see. Let's just leave him with this one. It's a little closer to things.